July 2020 for Cancer risings, in no clickbait or overdramatic way, is quite literally a final boom to a saga of the past year and a half or so of just relationship madness. This is like you finally stepping out and demanding your worth by shedding those interpersonal matters and relationships that cannot survive. The universe is not letting you keep being thrown around or in a state of toxicity after this month. If you are excited to dive into what the astrology, what the tarot, and what the oracle deck cards have to say about what's in store for you for this July 2020, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. This video is also brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online service connecting you with licensed therapists that you can connect with online via your phone, your mobile device, your tablet, your computer, and speak with them over text, phone call, or even video chat. When you go to sign up at this link, you can be matched with a counselor in under 24 hours. And being part of BetterHelp includes weekly group in our sessions, where you get to speak with other members about topics such as relationships and anxiety and how to best manage those. BetterHelp is available worldwide and costs $65 a week, though financial aid is available for those who qualify. BetterHelp is not a crisis hotline, but there are resources for that below, so if you are looking to go ahead and get started, feel free to sign up at the link below. Once you head to that link, you'll be taken to a really simple sign-up process where you'll walk through exactly what you need to fill out to find your ideal therapist. And once you go through this, you can be matched in just under 24 hours. Hi, I'm Maren. I am a professional astrologer, philosophy student, and author. I combine traditional Hellenistic astrological techniques with modern psychological counseling dynamics in order to provide grounded spiritual guidance. So opening right up on the 1st, Saturn is retrograding back into your Capricorn 7th house. Saturn entered Aquarius earlier this year, and I have a full video on the next 3 years of what Saturn and Aquarius is going to represent collectively for us. But because Saturn went retrograde when it was very early on in Aquarius, it's re-entering Capricorn and therefore your 7th house. Over the past few years, you have had an incredible amount of breakdown, challenge, limitation, just overall regeneration and death and rebirth and madness happening in your relationship world. Tons of things have changed, you have grown immensely, and there's been a new foundation set that might still be breaking down the old one. So as Saturn had entered your 8th house of shared finances, it gave you a glimpse into the next few years of challenges around assets and values and finances you share with others. But because Saturn is re-entering Capricorn, there's a little bit of loose ends you're tying up around relationships. It's kind of like the final limitations that you're declaring around interpersonal bonds with others. In any way, it could be romantic, it could be business, it could be multiple relationships. There's one final declaration of your boundaries or chapter ending around other people. On the 5th, there is then a lunar eclipse at 13 degrees of Capricorn in your 7th house, highlighting your 7th house, 1st house axis. Full video on this lunar eclipse linked down below, but this is basically the final eclipse that is making you at the collective or indicating that you were at the collective forefront of some of the breakdowns happening. The lunar eclipse is lighting up a final push through obstacles in your relationship sector because you know that your identity has to go through that in order to find itself in a certain way. And that might seem strange, but the eclipses have been a year and a half long of breaking down and letting go of relationship dynamics that then support you stepping more into an empowered, progressive sense of self. This is quite literally like a final I do not allow that, and over the next 6 months, I'm no longer going to tolerate this certain relationship dynamic as a means for me skyrocketing into who I truly am in a fresh version of myself that might have involved going back to some sort of inner spark. The full video on that gets more into it because it's a messy, very harsh lunar eclipse. On the 12th, Mercury is then stationing direct at 5 degrees of Cancer in your first house. So over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of reconsideration of you, and it'll probably be interesting for you to look at this full video on Mercury retrograde in Cancer down below if you have not yet, because this retrograde, even though Mercury retrogrades are not that big of a deal, was directly tied into such large collective transits that it made it a bigger part of the year. And it was happening in your first house of self, physical body, identity. Like, you could not escape some of the Mercury retrograde BS. There were definitely rethinking the way that you speak in the world. There was probably a sense of bottling up your emotions, or even feeling as if that you were being impeded upon by those in your professional field, or feeling like your career was like not letting you speak your mind. And now that Mercury is moving direct, do be careful of the tendency to say I told you so, or like na 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 boo boo kind of thing to those in power. Like, if you feel like you are now breaking free, be careful that you are liberating yourself, not attacking others, even though overall this is a good thing that Mercury is now direct in your first house of self and you're able to speak a bit more directly around things. On the 20th, there is then a new moon in Cancer in your first house. Full video on this second new moon in Cancer of the year is down below. It's really rare that we have these, but sometimes there do end up being two new moons in the same sign, because there was an eclipse in your sign last month that was a solar eclipse, a new moon, and now there is another just regular old new moon at the very end of the sign at 28 degrees. So there's been multiple opportunities this year for manifesting the new identity that has been building up over the past year and a half. So that this, even though it's a new moon in Cancer and wants to manifest coziness and security in your first house of self and identity, it's in a direct conversation of opposition with your Capricorn 7th house that is indicating some boundaries and limitations of significant others in relationship, putting some obstacles in that way, and you having to really get through those to manifest that identity that you're looking to. On the 22nd, the sun is then entering Leo. It's lighting up your second house of finances and assets and money for the next few weeks. Probably a welcome shift from really like personal things into more like, okay, let's think about money, and lighting up generosity of prosperity in your life. The month then closes on the 27th with Jupiter in Capricorn sextiling Neptune in Pisces between your 7th house and 9th house. This is a year-long transit that involves glimmers of hope coming out of the hard work you're putting into one area of life, allowing for some dreams to come through in another area of life. So for you, you've been working really hard at getting to the bottom of relationship dynamics, reevaluating your standards in one-to-one partnerships, and that's actually opening up for some dreams of fulfillment around long-term travel plans, higher educational plans, authority figures in philosophy or spirituality, or teachers in general, that the way in which you're defining your boundaries with others is actually opening up like long-term opportunities, because you're probably reaching the vibration of people who also take themselves seriously, which is a theme of this month. Like, are you going to take yourself seriously and stop waddling side to side like the Cancer crab can sometimes do, and like put the claws out and be like, I declare this and I define my reality. So with that being said, let's pull a tarot card for Cancer risings and see what's coming up for July 2020. We have the Hermit reversed. The Hermit upright is like, go within, meditate, do your own thing. This reverse is like, do not go it alone, get someone else's point of view, put yourself out there, ask around. With Mercury stationing direct in your sign and so many lunations indicating cataclysmic unveiling in your first house, you might want to speak to loved ones who are not in the middle of your drama. You might want to speak to those who you know are not as in the middle of going through it, to get another point of view and not to bottle things up. The Hermit is saying, don't bottle things up. This is not the time to try and internally incubate. This is the time to get more perspective and openly communicate. Finally, let's pull a Law of Attraction card to see what attraction guidance comes up for Cancer risings. I am learning to allow well-being in. The art of allowing is I am that which I am, and I am pleased and joyful in it, and you are that which you are. And while you are different from that which I am, I can allow that, for it is also good. Maybe this could be Sometimes, you know, we can get addicted to drama and sadness, and we can get addicted to the struggle we have with people as entertainment. So if you're finding that maybe the past few years have been getting power out of the drama with someone else, this could be a realization that like you can feel better directly feeling good than you can by trying to make a situation manipulated to a way that'll make you feel good. Like sometimes humans can be funny and try to feel bad enough to feel good, where we could actually like take a step back and allow well-being in. And we can all do this to a certain degree. And for you, with this relationship really coming to a chapter energetically ending in that area of your life, allowing well-being. If you enjoyed this and you would like to check out my private astrology consultations, you can check out everything in the description, along with everything for Rashi, which is my platform connecting spiritual practitioners with their ideal clients. So if you are a metaphysical professional, like a healer, a diviner, a yoga teacher, and you're looking to post your services online, you can check that out down below. And also if you're searching for those, it's a great way to connect. The link for BetterHelp is down below if you're interested in starting that. And otherwise, make sure that you like, subscribe, and let me know down below how you're feeling about this July as we enter anything that's coming up throughout the month. I would love to hear from you. Sending so much love, and I will see you in the next one. There is one thing